Hello guys, I want to share this project I made with you guys, and it's one of my favorites. Probably say that with every project, but here's the program on my machine. This is the flag project. It's not to spec. It doesn't have, the proper proportion and number of stars and stripes. This is more of an art piece. It's going to sit on a desk. It'll have a little kickstand welded to it. I'm going to be using that flame coloring of the steel. And so here it starts out. I'm CNC plasming this. These are the small details, the stars. I have this at about 35 inches per minute is my torch speed. And my cut height is a little too high on this. I got a little more dross than I would have liked. And dross is basically oxides and slag from the cutting operation that kind of adhere and stick to the underside. It's just called dross. Edge accumulation, different names for it. And it usually flakes off pretty easy. Sometimes it can weld to the edge. You got to remove with a grinder, but so I had a little more dross, a little more edge buildup on this than I would have liked. That tells you that your cut speed is too low. It's moving too. The torch is moving too slow. The torch is too high above the workpiece, or your amperage is not correct. So those three things are critical: the right amperage, the right torch height, and the proper torch speed. So these stars are at 35 inches per minute, and I have the stripes. I'm running at 80 inches per minute, and I should have been at more like 90. Matter of fact, I did some test cuts in this same plate. This plate is about 0.100 inches thick. It's a tenth of an inch, and so this recycled saw blade. And so about 90 to 95 inches per minute is optimum for 45 amps. So I should have been running a little. The cut quality came out. I had good edge. This how square the edges to the cut is called edge perpendicularity, is a $20 word, but it's a word to describe the angularity of the edge. If it's heavily tapered, the torch is too tall, or it's too high, or it's too close. It's moving too fast. There's a bunch of factors that can contribute to that, but the edge quality on this piece was very good. It just needed to be a little bit faster of a traverse speed. And if you notice, I have my clamp for my plasma cutter actually clamped to the part I'm cutting, and that's critical to have a good path for that. This is it's a DC current coming from the torch, and so it needs a path. And traditionally, you can sometimes you can hook to the slats, or you can hook to the table, and I've had poor results with that. I have a better result of hooking directly to the piece. And if the part's heavily rusted, sometimes you have to grind a clean little bare spot of metal to hook the grounding clamp to have a good circuit for it to go through. But here the part drops out. I'm just going to pull this out. Some people wonder about the water table, but the plasma arc will actually run submerged. I've cut metal plate underwater with the torch submerged fine. So plasma arc will run submerged. The water's not a problem. And the details came out fine. Edges were good, but you can see this is a little more dross than I like. But it came off easy enough, flaked right off, so it wasn't a problem. But so here I am, I'm running through. I ran like a 60 grit, I think an 80 grit, and then I used 100 or 120. I found the highest grit flap disc I could find. I think it was 120 grit. And I'm trying to put a little bit better of a polish on this you'll see the effect I'm looking for later on in the video. But so I actually have a belt grinder, and I could have actually ran this at 200 or 220 or 300 or maybe even 400 and got a really good polish on this. But I was looking for a certain type of effect. And I might do one in the future where I put a really good polish on it, and I get that effect. But here it is. It's got a little bit of a shine to it. I got a little bit. So the next thing, I'm going to weld this little kickstand on, and just so it'll stand up. And that's the little part that dropped out of the stripes I reutilized for the kickstand. And I ground that little heat affected zone from the welding off the face. Now here I'm heating this. I don't have a full video of me heating this. I just have some of the shots, but these colors are coming out phenomenal. You'll see this. It's just insane. These colors I'm getting. And this is just heating with a torch, and I dunk it in the water. And so it is a straw color, then almost to a golden color and a bronze color, and then it gets into the purples and then the blues. And here it is, guys. Now, right before it hits the purple phase, there's a pink color that you'll see. Just this little bit of pink. You can see it around the stars, and it's just phenomenal. That pink color is unbelievable. I wish I could have had more of it come out in the flag, and I'll try and achieve more of that color in a future. Maybe I'll get a very finely controlled oven where I can dial in these temperatures very accurately, and that'll give a more uniform coloring, right? But rather than heating it slowly with a torch and a localized thing and quenching it in water. But look at these colors, guys. These blues are just phenomenal. A little bit of purple. You can see where these thinner sections heat up a little faster, and I'm getting once you go past the blue, it actually turns into a gray color. And so you can see some of the blues, it's a grayish color, but I really like the effect. And you can see the flap disc. There's a little bit of height variation here. It's not perfectly flat and uniform, and that it contributes a little bit to the variation of the coloring, which is what I was going for. Now look at this. You can see I have it in a little bit higher light condition here, and this is just phenomenal coloring. I must have spent 20 minutes staring at this piece after it was done. The colors are it's just brilliant, and uh, I can't say enough about this piece. This is, it's just phenomenal. These colors. I look at this every morning when I wake up, and it makes me feel good. I actually feel a boost in my spirits just to observe something like this, something that's that beautiful. I see it every morning when I wake up. It's on my kitchen countertops. So I really enjoyed this project. Let me know what you think about these colors. Should I do another one? And I really appreciate you guys' time watching this. It means a lot to me. Thank you guys, and we'll talk to you soon.